Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Woodridge College and Preparatory Virtual Evening, Open Evening rather. It is an absolute pleasure to introduce myself to you as your host in the main room. My name is Jason Seiss, and I'm just so happy to share in this amazing experience this evening with you, as it is our very first virtual information evening. We welcome our guests from all over the continent and all over the world. And I think this is where the pros come in with being able to use technology to just share and showcase to you our beautiful, beautiful place that we come from. And this evening, as you join us from the comfort of your own home, what a crazy and challenging time it's been for all of us. But here we are, taking it one day and one step at a time. So tonight, please soak up all the information that you can, soak it all up, get all the information you can, ask the questions you need to ask, get to know our beautiful school as we take you on a journey of a million dreams. So right here, right now, a million dreams could start with one. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce our college headmaster, Mr. Derek Bradley.
We're going to provide a snapshot into the life of Woodridge. And in advance, I'd like to acknowledge those who have put this evening together. That includes the pupils and obviously the staff who have spent many hours getting this together. It is a novel event for us, and we'd hope that you relax and enjoy the interactions with the various teams hosting us tonight. Jason will guide you through the procedure for the evening, but first, we'll go to a video to set the scene.
Imagine a school where the beauty takes your breath away and the rolling hills call us to stay, where they care about body, mind, and spirit, and the sky really is the limit. Imagine a school alive with possibilities, top sports, and amazing outdoor facilities, where exploring outside feels just right, so you better hold on tight. Can you just imagine? A school where home is in the air, that lifts me up with real care. A school where the traditional bell rings for what joy the day brings, where knowledge and education is key, and music and creativity is so good for me, where we can learn from nature and all our friends share in the adventure, where sportsmanship comes alive and I can reach my potential and thrive. Where open spaces allow my imagination to grow and learning and discovery flow. Here, we become the leaders of tomorrow. Here, we faithfully follow our motto. Imagine a school where I matter.
Let's chat academics, I think. Jay, and here you are. Thanks for joining us. What a pleasure to be able to chat to you guys this evening with some of our parents, some of our guests remaining behind. So, and actually, let me pose this to you with regards to some of the academics at Woodridge College. I've been a teacher there for 5 years now, and absolutely, first time being in the classroom was very daunting. But I've realized that we've got some smart kids at our school. So I know you've been here the longest out of all of us. Any smart kids that you, or rather clever kids that have come through the ranks, and if they have come through the ranks, what do they do now?
Yes, for sure. I have been here a long time, and the the history of the school in terms of the academics is quite a long and illustrious one. And, you know, if you have to look at some of the successes, certainly in different age groups or year groups, some really amazing achievements. I mean, for example, in 1980, the class of 1980, there were two, the top academic and the second top academic have both become neurosurgeons. So Nicholas Martins, who's now living in Australia, is a Royal Australian College of, he's a member of the Royal Australian College of Surgeons, and he's a neurosurgeon. He was a head boy in 1980. And the person who came second in the year is a gentleman by the name of Professor Graham Fegan, who's actually a neurosurgeon at UCT, and he focuses particularly on pediatric neurosurgery. So just in one year group, we had two brain surgeons. And talking about UCT, another professor was from the class of 1976, Professor Tim Hoffman, who was also the head boy. He's a professor of botany at UCT. So we've certainly had a few top academics come through, and I could talk all night about the examples, but I'm sure you want to ask Derek some questions.
Yes, that's, I mean, it's so crazy to think that, you know, us specifically, we're part of an institution that has produced a top-class academics, alumni in neurosurgery, and professors and alike. And I mean, even through the ranks now, I can see some of my pupils on that route as well. A lot of creatives in the academic department as well. So, I mean, it's more of a holistic approach, but specifically academics. I think, Mr. Bradley, I hope for this evening you don't mind me calling you Derek.
No problem at all.
But how would you say things have changed a little bit regarding assessments, IEB, and so on and so forth? How have things evolved within our school setup?
Okay, so we are an IEB school, IEB standing for Independent Examinations Board, and most of the independent schools in the country are affiliated to the IEB. The curriculum is very similar to national education, but it is an assessment where there is a difference. And certainly children who write the IEB exam, when they get their results, they're able to go all over the world. So they're accepted into universities across the world. So as I say, it's about the assessment, and our examinations are certainly at a high level. And our children at Woodridge certainly last year have done very well, and over the years have done really well. We have two of our top students last year both got 7 distinctions. I know that one of them is going off to do medicine at UCT. So the IB for us is the right way to go. And as I say, international universities look at our IB results, and we can, our children can get into the universities.
So I would say we're definitely well recognized, and not just in our own country, but across the globe. And I think that sort of recognition is absolutely fantastic. I think even just looking at the syllabus that we teach as a teacher inside the classroom as well, I think how we engage our students is actually outside of the box, opening up their minds to critical thinking, and not just, you know, plain old parrot fashion learning, which really evolves our kids to step out. Another question we've got here relating to, I would say, our academic side is, do we have robotics and IT at Woodridge College? And do you want to come in, or Mr. Bradley, you're unmuted. Could you come in there?
No, at this stage we don't. We have it in the prep. The prep are looking at it as an option. Certainly, our curriculum at the moment, it's not something that we are considering in the very short term. But following what has happened with COVID and the lockdown, it's something that we will be looking at down the line.
Just before we went off, that you had a question for me.
Yes, Jason, I would like to ask you, as a person who hasn't been in the classroom for a while, and you've now starting your career in the classroom with the challenge of COVID and the real difficulties of online teaching, how have you found it, and how have the pupils responded to you?
Wow, that's actually a good question. And it was, let me put it plain and simple, it was very challenging. I think moving from, with the uncertainty of how COVID has presented itself, and moving along as we did, I think that, it was challenging to be able to adapt, to learn new things, to be able to navigate life in general, and then also teach at the same time. As you know as well, being a dad to a little 1-year-old who also is who makes it a little bit more challenging teaching. The kids love the fact that he was, sometimes on my lap, gave them a wave. But what I do take my hat off to is the fact that the courage that our kids had during this time. We kept the standard of assessments that we pushed towards our learners. We've kept them to a specific standard, and they really stepped up to the plate in every aspect. So I think that we were very blessed and really privileged to be able to have the resources that we were able to have. And I think we really actually moved quickly on our feet when it came about. If I'm not mistaken by saying this, am I right in saying that we didn't lose a single academic day during the pandemic? And that is fantastic. The fact that we've done that and we've given that to our pupils just says something about us as a school. And I think it's really, as much as it was a good thing, it was challenging. I think Superman also doesn't always wear his cape. Let's put it that way.
Can I just butt in here, Jason? Yes, can I just butt in and say, really, it's a testament to our staff. Our staff were absolutely fantastic. We didn't have a lot of time. We had 3 days to prepare ourselves for this. And to Catherine Logie, our Director of Academics, and the entire staff, it really was impressive in the way in which we went about delivering our online.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Bradley. We've got a couple of questions coming through the chat. And maybe this could be for you. How many foreign or non-South African students do we have at Woodridge College?
Yeah, well, we've got a massive growing footprint in Africa. We've always had students that come from across the borders. So it's nothing that's totally new to us. But certainly there's been an incredible increase in the footprint, particularly in Kenya and Uganda. A lot of interest for places at Woodridge, obviously in boarding, from those two particular areas. And I'm quite excited to see that, because I've been lucky enough to go on a couple of trips to Kenya and to Uganda. And I can see how those boys and girls can fit right into our school, into the ethos. They're used to space. They're used to having open spaces. They're used to adventure. So certainly the footprint is growing at a fantastic rate for people outside of the country.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Can I just add to that, Jason?
Yes.
we have a student from Japan. We've had from Dubai, from the UK, from Netherlands, from Germany. And it's by word of mouth of the kind of offer that we have at Woodridge. Our holistic education is quite amazing. If we look at our outdoor education, our sport is at a very, very good level. Academics are there at a high level, and our cultural programs are excellent. So it's by word of mouth that we're getting these people showing such interest in Woodridge.
Right, gentlemen, the chat box is going. So another question from Marissa is that, are iPads used in the preparatory grade 4 and 5?
Shall I answer that, Jason?
Yes, please, Mr. Bradley.
It's not part of what we do at Woodridge as yet, but again, as after the lockdown and online teaching, that is something that we'll be looking at for the future. But at this stage, we don't have iPads. Not all children will have iPads, so teaching is more of a traditional style. But we will be looking at that as we go forward. We do have a lot of technology in the classroom, don't get me wrong, but iPads specifically at this stage, no.
Okay, and next question, and I think this could be for you. We would like to know if what is the closest residential opportunity if parents would like to relocate? And I'm sure boarding would come into play here. And sorry, you're muted. We also have.
He's muted. Shall I answer that?
Yes, please.
There we go.
There we go. We've got it.
Okay, Ant, do you want to answer it?
Sorry, I just had to be let in by the host. Yes, certainly. Boarding is part of our heartbeat, and we've got a growing area right on our doorstep at Crossways where people are buying properties, and maybe even if they're in other countries or other areas, they're buying properties, but the boys and girls want to be with their friends. So even if they buy property nearby St. Francis, right here at Crossways, the boys and girls want to be in boarding. They want to get that full boarding experience. So certainly St. Francis is an area where a lot of people are moving from Johannesburg, and it's a growing footprint for us. But boarding is growing, and people are looking at Woodridge as an option.
While they're getting Billy unmuted, and I think this is a question for you. This might be more for boarding breakdown, but how do we communicate with the out-of-country parents about how their kids are doing, and how do you deal with bullying? So I think maybe Mr. Bradley and if you could come in on this question.
Okay, so shall I talk about, let me talk about the bullying first of all. Certainly, we have a zero tolerance for bullying of any kind, be that verbal or physical. That being said, it happens in a lot of schools, and we keep our eyes wide open, and we believe that there is a mutual respect between our juniors and our seniors, and we drive that as one of our big as one of our main thrusts when we have our children in boarding. It's not something that we will tolerate at all. I don't know if you want to add anything, Ant?
Up that question. They say this might be more for the boarding break room, but how do we communicate with our out-of-country parents about how their kids are doing?
Yeah, we have an open door policy, and certainly as we're speaking now on virtual, that kind of contact can be had with parents. I was on a similar call today with someone outside the country, so there is regular feedback to parents, and parents are very welcome to contact, if academic issues, obviously Dr. Logie, and if it's boarding issues, Christoph Opperman, and anything else, myself or Mr. Botha.
Awesome.
If I could add to that, Jason, there's often a question asked to me when I go on my travels, and parents are far away from their children. There's a concern if you are out of sight for safety, and it's a long way. Some of these borders come from a long way away. Certainly, we do, as Mr. Bradley said, have an open door policy in terms of communication. But for example, if you are from Kenya and you would like to go for a weekend out with a friend, we certainly have a very strict signing out routine where you have to have an invitation from the guest, or the host, should I say, host parents. You have to have a confirmation from your own parents. So there's always a check and a balance in terms of that. And on our property, we have many boarders that are staying here for long durations, weekends. We've got a 24-hour security company that man the property. So there's an incredible sense of peace for the boarders. And that's what I find when I mention this to parents. puts their mind at ease, because there's quite a bit of negative publicity about South Africa in the media, and so there's a concern that they will be in the middle of a riot or whatever. But really live in a very secure and safe environment.
I think, can we then say that priority number one will always be the safety of your child at Woodridge College? And that's why we have such strict policies in allowing our kids to maybe jump off campus for any sort of reason. And I think that's brilliant, especially as a new parent now. I must say that if I could put my child in any sort of boarding establishment, I definitely want to feel that safety of knowing that even while I'm not around, there are protocols and things in place that will keep them safe. Another question here we have is it possible to apply for scholarship programs for academic only, or do you qualify for both, or would you have to qualify for both sporting and academic?
Can I answer that, Jason?
Yes, sir.
So we've got full academic bursaries, but we also have we will have sporting bursaries. So they are separated. People applying for an academic bursary would need to write our bursary exam, and there are details that will be written in March. There are details on our website to that effect.
Fantastic. Right, just moving along. Wow, we've got so many questions coming through, and I'm trying to make sure that I get them as we go. Wow, so we've got, I don't know if Olivia is still in the room. We've actually got a question for Olivia from Marissa. And I'm not 100% sure if she's still in here, but I'll have a look now. What is our policy on phones?
All right, let me answer that. Certainly during class time, unless the phones are being used for a specific purpose, and pupils are asked to go onto the internet to source information, they're not allowed to use their phones, and they're not allowed to walk around campus on their phones. So during school time.
Yes, I was barely even coming in there as one of the educators or other teachers inside the classroom. As much as we use our technology to try and allow the evolution of teaching to become, I know that sometimes these things can become a distraction. So definitely, unless it's not being used specifically for a lesson or for teaching, then I personally, as a teacher, yes, I don't allow phones in my classroom. But guys, I'm just going to keep going as these questions are coming through. Anta, do you want to come in there?
Yes, I see there's a question from Tracy. She says, what is unique about Woodridge? Now, yeah, I've been privileged enough to have both my son and my daughter come through Woodridge. And to me, it's not just about the wonderful environment. It's about the whole package. And to me, if you want to actually test that, the test is in the eating of the pudding. And both my son and my daughter have come out confident young adults. And to me, that's what you want. You want them happy. And most schools find challenges all the time. So not everything will be 100% perfect. They're going to have challenges. They're going to have trials and tribulations. But to me, that's number one. There must be in a safe environment for their future. And both my children are completely different. And they both have been set up to take on their futures in completely different directions. So what is different to me is the environment, the ethos, the atmosphere that lays the foundation for their future.
If I can just add to what Anta said, it's around the opportunities that we have at Woodridge. I went down this afternoon with a whole group of our pupils who were swimming our annual river mile down on the Van Stadens River. And here we are with all the kind of lockdowns, and we have the space for safety. and we're able to run these kind of events. So it is around just the number of opportunities that the children have, and obviously we push them hard to take all those opportunities. But what sets us apart? Opportunities, I believe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I must say that my 5-year experience at Woodridge has no doubt just been, even as a staff member, to be part of the wellness part, or the growth of and the development of as a staff member, was really something to experience. And I know this is not about the staff, but it's about the opportunities that we do have at Woodridge. And I must say that doors open up. Doors do open up. But just going back to, and I mean, when I say doors open up, I mean that we are not a one-dimensional school. For the first time in my life, I camped out in a tent. You know what I mean? My first year down at Lily Pad Pond, camping out in a tent, and just chatting to so many other kids at that survival camp. It was their first time as well. So it does open up doors for opportunities. But let's carry on. Let's see how many. Wow, the questions are flowing. What differentiates Woodridge from DSG? I'm trying to just read these questions as we go in order. Does anyone want to come in?
We're a co-ed school. DSG is a girls' school.
Well, here we go.
I don't know how else to. We both independent schools, and monastic education suits people. It doesn't suit others. All I can say about Woodridge is that we are a different school. There's absolutely no doubt. Now I said it about our opportunities. There are plenty of opportunities at Woodridge.
100%.
There was a question, Jason. There was a question around international. A lot of our children end up at universities around the world. So there was a question about how they do. Obviously, when you're going to an international university, they will look at your results, look at the IB. But we accredited University of Edinburgh, and they look at our IB results and they rate our kids. So our children end up studying around the world, doing postgraduate degrees.
And do you want to come in there?
Yeah, I was just to back what Derek is saying. There's actually a list of about 50 universities that I have currently with me, where students can apply that have done the IB. And I noticed that, I think it was Fabi had a question about, is there a need for bridging if you come from, I think she's from Kenya, if I remember correctly. In fact, I think I've actually met her in Kenya. We certainly don't need that extra bridging program. We work very hard to make sure that the pupils that come from other countries or even from other schools are assisted. We have clinics in the afternoon, we have tutor groups, we have all sorts of means to make sure that if there is a gap, or if there is a need for extra assistance, they do get it. And of course, being a small school, small in 370 pupils, there's nowhere to hide. So certainly, if they need help, it will be picked up.
Well, let's see. Have you had any safety incidences with your school buses for daycare? Not well. Any gentlemen? Yes, please.
Can I answer that? There is a concern with safety on the roads, but certainly in the 24 years that I've been at Woodridge, there hasn't been one incident. There hasn't been one incident where there's been an accident. Everybody has been safe. There is a policy of seatbelts that the kids have to, the pupils have to make sure they're buckled up. Even on the day scholar buses that go every day, I do take a bus. So we're quite confident that the transport system is pretty safe.
Fantastic. I know I do take a bus as well, and it's everything's in place, especially from a safety perspective. We have staff on buses, so that's also something to just keep in the back of your mind, that there's always supervision. if pupils want to board but have sport in PE, will they be allowed to leave in the middle of the week and come back?
Yeah, shall I answer that, Jason? Yeah,
Sure.
we have a very, and I say flexible, but within a discipline environment, we have a flexible movement of pupils. So if, for example, a mom has a birthday on a Wednesday and they want to take their child out, we have no problem with that. Obviously, they go through the sign-out procedure, but we're flexible from that perspective. And that also sets us apart from a lot of schools. It's a home from home.
Absolutely.
If I can add to perhaps what the question is, if there's sport, each pupil has to choose a summer and a winter sport. And sometimes they have other sports that are external. And we try and accommodate that. But, we believe in the fact that we offer a holistic program here. So we want the pupils to participate in sport, into outdoor education as much as possible. So, we want them on our campus. We don't really want them disappearing every afternoon. But we do have a flexibility, as Mr. Bradley says. And perhaps I can try and answer that. What's Woodridge policy on sexual harassment between? I'll just ask the question.
Between learners and learners and teachers. I think that was.
Look, we have a strict code of conduct, obviously, with regard to pupils. And Derek, you will vouch for that. There's no tolerance with that kind of misdemeanor or obviously transgression. And the same thing applies with staff. There's a contract that they sign, and you will certainly vouch for the fact that there's no tolerance for that. So, as far as we're concerned, we throw the book at them if they transgress. Can you agree, Derek?
I agree with that. You're never immune to those kind of things, but we again, it's a zero tolerance on that. So we deal with it. If we need to involve legal entities, we will do so. But we have a zero tolerance for that.
Okay, as I'm just going through the questions, can we speak a little bit about the equestrian side of Woodridge? Can we speak a little bit about that?
I'll talk first and then hand over to Ant if Ant wants to add. We have the equestrian centre run by Eleni Pullen, and we have a number of horses, of our own horses. Our children are involved in a number of events throughout the year, and our riders do well at national. So we have a fairly big equestrian centre and well run, and our kids, as I say, do well.
Certainly, they participate in virtually every single opportunity. There's an event from even using the farm next door if they're going to do different events. There's a course on the farm next door that we can use. But I know Eleni is brilliant. She's so passionate. It really, she's lifted this equestrian centre. We've got paddocks everywhere. There's horses as you ride in. You can see horses everywhere. And certainly, if that's your passion, you're coming to the right place, because she will match that passion for you.
See, another question: if we want to board, how much time are they allowed on their phones if they want to board, if they are in boarding? And also, while answering that, can they come and visit the facility?
Yes, if I can answer that, there is a policy of certain times when they are allowed to be on their devices and certain times when they're not allowed to be at the device. So if it is during prep times, they have to put their devices away, and the house parents look after that. Yeah. I see you have your finger up.
Yes, sorry. We have 1 minute before the final rotation. We've got a couple of thank yous coming through as well. And we're going to get to that next question as soon as the rotation comes through. Guys, please remember that any sort of questions, or rather any questions that have come through that we have not answered yet during our discussion in the main room, or if they haven't answered those questions in our breakout rooms, please note we will get back to you as soon as we can. There are so many questions, and yes, I'm sure that you can, according to some of the policies that we have in place regarding COVID, I'm sure that you can, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you'd like to come and visit our facilities, please feel free to contact the school, make an appointment with Anthony. You're more than welcome to take a bit of a walk about. Right, gentlemen, there was a question that I saw it earlier, and I had to scroll down, unfortunately, because I just had to look at the time schedule. But what is Woodridge's policy on racism?
Okay, shall I answer that? Because there was a question earlier about transformation.
Yes, I think that ties in.
It ties in. So again, we have a zero tolerance for any kind of racism. We'd like to believe that racism is very limited at Woodridge. However, you're never immune to those kind of things. But as I say, we have a zero tolerance. And we're going through a big transformation process at the moment, run by an external company, and we on a big transformation path, if I can say it like that.
Right, awesome. I hope that helps. I hope that answer helps. Can we move on to the next question? Let's see. How strong is tennis at Woodridge?
Sorry, could you repeat that, Chase?
How strong is tennis at Woodridge? Okay, so we have what we call top tier sports, and those would be our mainline team sports. Tennis, we do have a national tennis player at Woodridge, just to put it out there. It is a sport that we take seriously. Most children will have to do one of our mainline or our top tier sports, unless they're playing at a really good level. So in summer, we have got our summer sports program, so that would be cricket, water polo water polo for the girls, cricket and water polo for the boys. Winter would be hockey, netball, rugby, and those are our top tier sports. If you're playing, as I say, if you're playing tennis at a top level, then you would be accommodated.
Fantastic. There's another question with regards to what support is offered to students who are coming from CAPS curriculum and starting IEB in high school. If I can maybe just come in with, and you guys can elaborate on the answer, is that I've had a couple of students actually come into my classroom, who joined my classroom from the CAPS curriculum, starting at the IEB in high school. And our academic framework does offer so much support. Every teacher, even including myself, we offer academic clinics, especially when it comes to our kids who are coming from a different background or set up with regards to the curriculum. And it's slowly but surely, they actually grab onto it really quickly. The transition isn't that big. It's actually, it's actually an easier transition, to be honest with you. I've seen it with some of my kids. They actually prefer this type of curriculum over the CAPS curriculum, and that's just, I'm just giving you the information, not in comparison. And they find that that this way, or rather style of learning, has really helped them or assisted them in understanding, because as I said in the beginning, the IB does focus on critical thinking. So it's not 1 + 1 anymore equals 2. It's let's elaborate on that. So I hope that answers the question. If any of you want to come in onto that answer and maybe elaborate on what I've said.
If I can just add, the CAPS curriculum and our curriculum are very similar. it's around the assessment and the manner in which our exams are set. So that really is the difference. It's around the assessment. And children coming in certainly at lower levels, at grade 8 level, slide in very easily. If you're coming in at grade 11, slight changes, but if you work hard, there's no problem.
One thing I often say to new pupils and to parents is we encourage them to take responsibility as well. So in the afternoons, we have a resource center where a lot of the pupils will spend time actually doing their work, and they will chat to their peers, and they will, if need be, they will go to the clinics where the staff are. But it's actually very encouraging to see how they actually take their own initiative and responsibility for their studies.
Fantastic. Guys, I think can we chat a little bit more to, because I see quite a few of those questions that come through. Can we chat a little bit more to our outdoor education? Because the first time I set foot on Woodridge College and I attended an outdoor education day, OE day, I was blown away at these oaks climbing up a wall with nothing except themselves. And then I saw people cooking, and I mean, I was blown away personally. And that was 5 years ago, and I still get blown away when we have an OE day. And it's really something that I missed last year when we had the when we had COVID with the pandemic. So can we chat a little bit more around OE, outdoor education, how it comes into the school, and I'm sure, I'm almost sure no one else offers it in the Port Elizabeth region.
Okay, if I can, I'll start off and then hand over to Ant. There's so much with our outdoor education. Our pupils go out on camps twice a year, at least twice a year. And then Billy runs various other camps on half term. And if we now extend our OE to our life-saving, we've got a very, very strong life-saving club. One of the only schools, if not the only school in the world, that manages a beach. Rob Smith runs our life-saving club, and we've got that. Then there's canoeing, there's mountain, there's rock climbing, archery, and as I said earlier on, there's just so many opportunities, and that really is adds value to the holistic education that we are providing our children. Ant, I don't know if you want to add.
Yeah, if I can add on to what Jason has said as well as Derek, the atmosphere that happens at the outdoor education day is electric. I mean, it is something that you have to see to believe. And that's really one day out of the program where they are climbing on ropes, etc., and doing all sorts of a variety of activities. But what really makes our outdoor program something special is that it's a character building program. So there's not just all these adventure things that are high adrenaline things. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of planning. As Derek said, Billy runs the OE for the college, in fact, the campus. And he was lucky enough to go on a learnership to the UK, where he visited schools like Gordonston and others. And Gordonston forms quite an important part of the philosophy which we've taken on, because we've actually modeled it on the Gordonston model. And their motto is, there's more in you. And we believe that. So a lot of the challenges that the boys and girls face is about seeing how their character can be developed. And sometimes it's very little small things like building a campfire, setting your tent up, things that we might take for granted, but people might not be able to do that. There was one girl who went on the grade 10 way, the 21-day way last year, who couldn't really ride a bicycle. And she was going to ride 64 kilometers on the first day. And her peers, her friends, taught her how to ride a bicycle. And this was a few weeks before we headed off on this adventure. And I was privileged enough to be one of the facilitators on this group, and to see the character development that came out from those boys in my particular group was fantastic. It was one of the most special moments in the 24 years that I've been at Woodridge.
Fantastic. I remember you. Yeah, sorry, Miss Bradley, go for it.
No, I just wanted to add to what Anne says. Some people might not know, but that trip just talking about is a 350-kilometer traverse from the top of the Bobby Arns Cliff all the way down to the Comtours River mouth and back to Woodridge. And they canoe, cycle, and hike. I spent a couple of days there last year, and it was absolutely magnificent.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, we are coming to the close of this evening's virtual open evening. What a way to have a chat and just to get to know our school a little bit more. And as we wait for the rest of our guests to come back, we've got so many questions. And please note, guys, to all our guests, we are going to get back to you with all these questions. I see they're slowly coming back in now. We are going to get back to you with answering these questions. Please stay. We have one more special video to show you guys. So please don't leave just yet as we wait for our guests to come back. Please note there is also an admission link in the chat. So please, if you have any questions regarding or like to find out regarding admissions, please go to our chat. The link is there, and I see our numbers are going up back in the main room. And just getting everyone back in. And you got something there?
Can I have a final comment from me? Yes. We love to invite people to come to the campus. So to me, that's the first prize. If you really want to see what the ethos and feel the atmosphere, please set up a meeting with Melanie Dollar. She runs our admissions, and either Tupper von Berg at the prep or Derek, and I'll certainly be on hand. Take you around the campus if you'd like to come and witness firsthand what
chat. So thank you for taking the time to share in what we experience every day. Where our kids become learners and hopes that they go into the world and able to teach. Our school boasts not only beauty but also opportunity. If you're on the sports field, we hope that you grow to understand sportsmanship. If you are in the classroom, we hope that you grow to understand that being brave is simply just putting your hand up. If you're in our arts and drama or music department, we hope that you grow to understand that a heartbeat is also a tune and a melody. And if it's in boarding, we hope that you grow to understand that home is right there. And if you are on the OE sports field or rather the Outdoor Education Challenge course, also know that teamwork is all about character and building that character. And Woodridge College not only giving you one dreams, but ladies and gentlemen, at our virtual open evening, we hope that we have given you 1,000,000 dreams.
I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. 1,000,000 dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. 1,000,000 dreams is all it's gonna take. 1,000,000 dreams. house we could build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, the vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, just say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see, I close my eyes to see. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.